The paradox we're about to explore is called the simulation termination problem. It begins with a physicist named Dr. Rafik Benali. He's spent most of his life researching the structure of reality, not what it's made of, but how it might be running. His most controversial belief? That we're living in a simulation. Not as a metaphor, not as a thought experiment, literally, as in this universe, this moment, this breath, is a digital construct running on someone else's hardware. One day, his team detects something strange in cosmic background radiation, a regularity too clean, too structured. They call it Signal Z. It matches no known natural phenomenon. Dr. Benali has a theory. Signal Z is not part of the simulation. It's about the simulation. A message, maybe, or a warning. One that reads, System termination scheduled. At first, no one takes it seriously. But then, the signals intensify. They start appearing in unrelated data sets, protein structures, prime number sequences, even deep-sea sonar, all saying the same thing. Not with words, but with math. The simulation is going to end. This is where the paradox begins. The simulation termination problem asks, if we're living in a simulation and we discover the truth, does knowing we're simulated increase the chance that the simulation will be shut down? It's based on a real philosophical idea called the doomsday argument for simulations. The theory goes like this. If the creators of our simulation are watching for self-awareness, then once we cross a certain threshold, once we figure out we're inside, they may choose to shut it down. Why? Maybe we've reached the end of the experiment. Maybe our awareness threatens the purpose of the system. Or maybe, by becoming aware, we've broken the illusion, and the creators no longer find it useful. Now, here's the paradox. If we don't explore the simulation idea, we stay ignorant and possibly safe. But if we do explore it, and we're right, we might trigger our own termination. Curiosity becomes a risk. Knowledge becomes a threat. And the very act of asking the question could end the experiment. Dr. Benali's team is split. Some want to publish their findings. Others say it's too dangerous. What if the simulation is being monitored in real time? What if the next paper is the last one? This paradox raises a deep issue about epistemological safety. Usually, knowledge is empowering. But what if some knowledge is like a self-destruct code? Not because it's cursed or forbidden, but because it activates a condition in something watching us. The simulation termination problem also mirrors real-world concerns. In AI development, there are shutdown triggers, protocols that deactivate a system if it behaves unpredictably. Now imagine we are the unpredictable system. Becoming aware of our condition might be the very thing that disqualifies us from continuing. But here's the twist. How do we know we haven't already been discovered? What if this moment, this paradox, is part of the simulation's design? A test, not a trap. A question, not a threat. Maybe the system doesn't shut down at discovery. Maybe it evolves with us, or maybe it resets, reboots with changes, tweaks, new variables. The simulation termination problem doesn't offer answers. It only shifts the burden. From, are we in a simulation? To, what happens if we find out? And more importantly, what should we do after we find out? Dr. Benali stares at the final string of numbers. They're clean, sharp, unmistakable. He closes his laptop, not from fear, but from awe, because even if the simulation ends tomorrow, he saw the curtain move. The simulation termination problem reminds us that some doors open inward, and some questions echo louder once asked. So as you lie here now, drifting between the programmed and the personal, ask yourself, if you knew reality could be shut down by your curiosity, would you keep asking? And if silence is safety, why does the question feel so loud? But if you're still awake, here's something to quietly compute. If finding out you're in a simulation threatens the simulation, does that mean discovery is the final test? The end.